So hi guys, in the previous video we have covered about abstract class. So I thought that this is the right time to discuss about interfaces because the interfaces is the just concept just next after the abstraction concept. So basically, yeah, I will zoom out a little bit so that you can see it clearly. So what we have done in the previous class we have created two abstract classes. One is computer and one is laptop. So for your understanding purpose, I will just remove this here, laptop extras. So this also I will remove, updated laptop. Okay. Yeah, you can understand this. Cannot be able to create the object of abstract class. I hope you know this. So I will simply remove this one. Okay. So we just had a abstract class known as computer. Okay. Or let's say for simplicity, let's say. So what I am saying is you just have a abstract class named db. So here db means database. For example, I am creating these methods for your sake. So in the db, what you have, in the db you have files, and in the db you have add operation. In the db you can have, you're not implementing here, just you have functionalities. What were the functionalities or what the methods that you are going to implement. You just in the designing only, you are going to design all this stuff and you are going to have the implementation. So you are going to have config. Okay, let's say mongodb is this the db connection that you are making. Okay, as this is abstraction and the class name is db. In this db you all this stuff. Okay, now my question is, you just declared here. Okay, you just declared here, you are not defining the method over here. So that is known as data hiding, and with the help of this abstract keyword we can achieve this kind of thing, and we can have in the other function so that we can implement that these functions. So that is the basic concept of abstraction we have understood in this previous video. That's not a problem. Then what is meant by this interface? So interface is nothing but just remove this abstract class, remove this abstract class. So just mention interface. That's it. Now you can only have the implementations of all the functions in the abstraction in the interface. Now you don't call this as abstract. You can just simply call it as interface. And now you can remove this public abstract as well in all the methods. See, there is no error because this is an interface. You just that is no, that it already know about this, even though if you not mention that it is a public abstract, because this is an interface. You are going to have all the methods inside this as public abstract. You're not going to implement here. You're going to implement in the other class. So now what I will be going to say is, I will come here and I will say suppose class, because that is db, we need to connect that. Okay, so this is a simple class. What you want to do is you want to implement all these functions in this connect class. So for that you just need to say that here we are not going to say extends, because here we are not going to say inheritance. We are going to have, for the interface we are going to say implements, and finally let's say db, because we are going to implement the db class. So as db is interference, we are going to just implement the db. So as this is not the inheritance, we are not going to say extends, we are going to say implements keyword, and in the implements keyword we are going to say db. After saying implements db, it is showing error. Why it is showing error? Because we are not implement these three files, three methods. If you hover over that, it will be going to say connect is abstract, does not override abstract method. So basically you can simply click on this quick fix. So it is what it is. We can simply say implement all abstract methods, simply click at that. So it will be going to show all the abstract methods. So for your understanding purpose, I will just simply remove this. So the basic motto you understood now. So the motto is, if you have the connect which is implementing the db, you just definitely need to have all the method implementations inside that. So that's the reason first it is showing error. So that the iterate override, I will explain in the future videos what is meant by that. So for the simplicity purpose, I just removed that. So you can see at override annotate. Okay, we have implementation of files, we have implementation of add, we have implementation of connect. Now, so you can also have the right click and source action. You can simply get that even though if you're not getting suggestions, simply right click that, you can click source action. Inside this you can get all the method implementations. You can simply use that source action as well. So you can simply the shortcut also you can use. If you simply hover that, it will show, and you can simply click on quick fix. So it will be directly going to implement all the functions that are in the interface that you are implementing in this connections class. So just for simplicity, I am printing all the stuff in the terminal. I will try to print that. Now what I will do in this main demo class is, so I will basically try to create a class, an object for that. So simply say object reference. So A is the object reference. So after creating an object reference, you can simply create actual object of, so not here A, we have the class name as. So basically I already said before, because as DB is abstract class, you cannot able to make the objects of abstract class. You can have the reference of the abstract, that's no problem, but definitely you need to make the object of which one. I need to make the object of the class of the concrete class. So in the interfaces also we call it as a concrete class, that is known as connect. So we will make the object for the connect. So with the help of this object we can able to call all the methods, so that you can think of. So I can say what are the methods we have: files, add, config. So I will say, so add. So this is fine. So now if you want, if you can run, so I will add the final object also object dot, so add the completed, this completed, so files is remaining. So if you try to print that, so it is printing add config files, because we have created interface. Inside that interface we are creating three abstract methods. So in the implements class, we are implements class, that is connect, we are implementing all the methods inside this. So there is no issue. So if we can, what if we have to have a variables inside the interface. Suppose, let's say you have some variables like, suppose assume that you have a password here. You're just trying to have some variables inside this DB. So it is showing error because you cannot able to have the variables like this. You have, if you want to mention, that is two types of variables is possible in interfaces. One is final and static. Means you definitely want to mention your password over here. So I will simply mention my password. So there is no error over here. So don't make your passwords like 123. It is very simple password, just for a demonstration purpose. Your DB password is just I am saying here. Suppose your, let's say, string. So because you cannot able to have in this format. In this format you cannot able to have in the interfaces, because this is interfaces, you cannot leave like this. If you declare the variables, you definitely need to have a final or static. So for that purpose you definitely need to access that. So as those are final or static, you can simply come here in the main class or main demo class. You can simply say, as those are final, if you want to print that, you can simply say with the help of the class name. What is the class name? Class name is DB. So with the help of that DB, you can see username, or you can see the password, that is yours. You can see the password, you can see the username. So I want to see the username. So as those are final, you can simply see the username and password in the terminal. So I hope you understood from this video what is meant by. So we have understood the abstraction. So I will say implement interface. So interface is nothing but just the extension of the abstract keyword. So in the projects and all big projects, you will be definitely going to see these kind of interfaces, because you don't know what is the first implementation. You just declare all the functions, what functionalities, what are the functionalities that you want to implement in the future, and some keywords that you want to keep some constants, so that if you want to have some variables like this, you can have variables, otherwise remove the variables. And all the functions, the methods that you want to have just declaration purpose, you can keep all of them in the interfaces. So after that, you need to use the implements keyword, and you need to extend the interface, and you need to implement all the functions here.